I spent my life forging a key to a door that was never meant to open. 10 seconds ago, I stood in a rain-soaked alley, clutching a gift for a woman who raised me, but never claimed me. This is the story of the night I stopped trying to unlock her love. I'm Catherine Moore, 34, and I've spent decades chasing a mother who saw me as an obligation, not a daughter. That night, I stepped off a red-eye flight into a city that tasted like salt and asphalt. My suitcase rattling behind me, like a ghost I couldn't shake. I'd come for my mother's farewell gala. Margaret Moore, the woman who once braided my hair and called me her wildflower. Before life taught me flowers only bloom where they're wanted. I wore an emerald dress that caught the light like a secret, carried a leather-bound journal engraved with her initials, and tucked a letter inside my coat pocket. A letter I'd rewritten 3 times, each word, a plea to be seen. The venue was a glass tower, all sharp edges and golden light, like it was daring you to feel small. I approached the check-in desk, my boots clicking on polished stone. Catherine Moore, I said, my voice steady, despite the churn in my gut. Here for Margaret Moore's gala. The host's eyes flicked to his screen, then back to me, his smile thinning like ice on a spring lake. I'm afraid you're not listed, Miss Moore. I forced a laugh. Sharp. Brittle. I'm her daughter. Check again. He frowned, tapped his tablet, whispered into an earpiece. Someone will be with you shortly. The air grew heavy, like the moment before a fuse blows. Guests swept past me in silk scarves and tailored coats, their chatter slicing through me. A man with a silver watch laughed too loudly, his cologne stinging my nose. I felt like a shadow, cast by someone else's light. A woman in a crisp blazer appeared, her badge glinting. Miss Moore, please follow me. I thought she'd lead me into the gala, toward clattering wine glasses, toward my mother's voice. Instead, she led me down a service corridor. Cold, gray, smelling of damp concrete. And there they stood. My mother, Margaret, posture rigid as a statue. My sister, Elise, picking at her nails like she was bored. And Elise's husband, Nathan, staring at his phone like it held the key to his escape. Catherine. Margaret's voice was clipped, like she was signing a contract. This is a private event. Close family only. My breath caught, a knife twisting in my chest. I'm your daughter, I said, words scraping my throat. Or did you rewrite that part of the story? Elise scoffed, tossed her hair. Don't make a scene, Cat. You always do this. Nathan looked up, half shrug, like I was a problem he didn't sign up for. You invited your book club, I snapped, pointing toward the glow of the gala. The ones who forgot my name at your last birthday. But not me. Margaret's eyes narrowed. You've made your choices, Catherine. We wanted tonight to be uncomplicated. Uncomplicated. That word burned sharper than any rejection. Love in our house was a ledger. Every affection a debt. Margaret was the accountant, always calculating. When I was 8, I won a science fair. She bragged to her friends. Catherine's my prodigy. But when I broke my wrist at 15, she called me clumsy, said I'd ruined her weekend plans. I spent 6 weeks in a cast. She never asked how it felt. Elise, though. Elise could skip school, crash Margaret's car, and get a pat on the head. She's spirited, Margaret would say. And me? I paid the deductible, the hospital bill, even the condo deposit when Margaret's savings ran dry. Over the years, I poured thousands into their lives. Groceries, phone bills, a laptop for Elise. I wasn't wealthy. I was just the fool who thought love could be wired like a bank transfer. 3 months ago, Margaret called. I'm stepping down from the firm, Catherine. I want to travel, Greece, maybe Morocco. You can help, can't you? Her voice was honey, but it carried a hook. I told her I'd think about it. The next day she emailed. I see where your priorities lie. Silence followed. No RSVP. No texts. But still, I wrote that letter. Still bought that journal. Still boarded that plane. Because some part of me, the part that remembered her braiding my hair, still hoped. The journal felt like a stone in my hands. I could have screamed, torn the letter to shreds, let my anger echo off that concrete corridor. Instead, I walked away, past the tower's glittering facade, past the banner with Margaret's face. A legacy begins. I found a bar across the street. Dim lights. Stools that creaked under the weight of lost souls. I sat, ordered a whiskey I didn't drink, and pulled out the letter. It was a confession, not a gift. $11,500. Enough for her dream trip. Scribbled in ink that smudged under my fingers. I'd written it hoping she'd finally, really look at me. Instead, I grabbed a pen, my hand steady as iron, and I wrote one word across it. Cancelled. Then I took a napkin, and I wrote again. Not to her, but to me. Every line was a chain breaking. Every bill I'd paid. Every night I'd cried, wondering why I wasn't enough. I wrote until my hand cramped. Until I wasn't the daughter anymore. I was Catherine, the woman who was finished begging. For days later, my phone lit up. 62 missed calls. Margaret. Elise. Nathan. Even a cousin I hadn't seen in a decade. I let them pile up, like ashes after a fire. Margaret's voicemails started soft. Catherine, we need to talk. It was a misunderstanding. Then sharper. You ruined my night, Catherine. By the 7th, she was fraying. Everyone saw it. How could you? Because at the gala, she opened my letter during her speech, expecting a tribute. Instead, she found my truth. I'm done carrying your dreams. I'm done being invisible. The crowd froze. My cousin texted later. Margaret held up the canceled check, glared like a spotlight. Elise stormed out. Guests murmured. Her travel plans collapsed the next week. I didn't answer the calls. Not out of spite, but because I was weightless. For the first time, I wasn't waiting for a sorry that would never come. Margaret's scrambling now, selling assets. Elise keeps texting. I delete them unread. But me? I'm waking up without a knot in my chest. Drinking coffee without checking for guilt trips. I'm forging a new key. One that opens a door only I can walk through. If this story struck a chord, if you've ever stood outside a door that stayed locked, drop a comment below. Share your moment. Hit that like button. Subscribe. And let's talk about the night you stopped trying to unlock someone else's heart. Because sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is throw the key away.